Hello and welcome to Outside the Box 2020. And today we are here to talk about what's happening in the real estate industry. And I have Edna Wilson with us with Rocket City Realty. And thank you for being here today. Edna, how are you doing?
Good. Thank you, Janice, for having me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So real estate is a hot topic right now with the pandemic and everything that's going on. And the question that comes up, it seems like in almost every conversation I have with people about real estate is this going to be a crisis or is this going to be a huge opportunity? So what's your expert opinion on that?
Well, we have to look at the numbers because the numbers are what don't lie, right?
Right.
So we do know that showings are down 54% right now, and which is a huge downturn. But what we also know is that people on Zillow has almost tripled. So
really?
People looking for houses has gone way up, even though they're not going out and looking for necessarily looking at the homes right now, which, by the way, real estate has been deemed essential. And so it's very appropriate for you to go out and look at houses right now. We try to stay more to the vacant homes. If we do go in an occupied home, we have safety precautions for that. But what makes us so different than 2008? Because that's what everybody goes back to, right? Oh my gosh, this is a housing crisis.
Yeah.
And so what I know is that in 1908, 2008.
Wait a minute.
Wait a second, we just jumped way back. But in 2008, would you believe that it was close to 80% of people had pulled equity out of their home, or their home was leveraged in such a high percentage that they just walked away because there was no way ever to recover. And what makes that so different right now is the opposite is true, that actually 53.8% of Americans have major equity, have at least 50% equity in their home. That's a big difference. You don't walk away from 50% equity.
That is huge. So, okay, so let me go back. Let me loop back on what you just said. So what you're saying is during the crisis that we saw in 2008, that a contributing factor to that was that most people didn't have a lot of equity in their home. And so it was easier to make the decision to walk away.
Correct. They were actually pulling the equity out of their home to go buy boats because it was just like, whoa, look what happened to the market.
Gotcha,
and I believe we have learned from that.
Mm-hmm.
And so we don't see people refinancing and pulling big cash out of their homes right now.
Gotcha.
So that's a huge difference. And when you look at 37% of America has a home free and clear right now.
Nice.
So they're not walking away. So we don't predict there to be a big foreclosure impact from this.
Yeah.
Now we are seeing a temporary almost seller panic of people who have to sell. And Janice, one of the questions I get a lot on Facebook is, why is real estate essential? I don't get it, right? That's a big question. But what I want people to really understand is why real estate is essential is because we have people who need to move or who are coming into the area. Jobs haven't stopped out of the Space Center, right? Yesterday alone, I had the privilege of helping a 93-year-old sell her home and go be with her family because it was time. She needed to go be with her family. And she had if we had deemed real estate non-essential, she would not have been able to go be with her family.
Yeah.
We would have had a Holton and waited another, 4 to 6 weeks, which would have been a lot. She really needed to go be with her family. Yeah. I have another widow who we close on this coming Friday who she can't afford her house. And if we'd have waited another 4 to 6 weeks, she could start going into foreclosure procedures because she just absolutely cannot afford it. But because we were deemed essential, we're going to be able to go ahead and close on her house. So it's not about just being out for joyrides and open houses and things like that, but it's about the essentials of what has to happen for the good of the people.
Right. I would agree with that. I tell you, I had a conversation yesterday with someone, because I myself will be in the real estate market in the next year. That's something that I
can help you with that.
All right. I know somebody, right? So it's something that's been, on my calendar, that in the next year I'll be looking for, real estate. And so I had a conversation with a family member about it yesterday, and she said, well, the prices should really drop and and we got into this conversation and I said, I don't think so, because one of the things that people aren't really thinking about, so if they're waiting to buy because they think the prices are going to drop. Now, let me stop and say I am no real estate expert by any means. I just have a lot of opinions. So but the beer, do we need a beer? I need forbearance program. We're not going to see a huge jump in foreclosures because there are systems in place to protect people, even though, yes, we're going to have, some economic disruption. We're not going to see a huge batch of foreclosures. So people who are waiting for the foreclosures to come are waiting in vain, because that's not going to happen.
It really isn't.
Yeah. I thought so too. So see, I feel I did good. I did good with that assessment all by myself. Yeah. Look at me. So,
look at you go.
Yeah, but it seems like really, although the initial impression would be, oh my goodness, real estate market is really going to suffer. From the outside looking in, it doesn't really look like that to me, other than, yes, the way you show a house is vastly different. We looked earlier at open house listings coming up, and there aren't any.
So we've gone to more of a virtual platform for sure.
Yes.
So we've been doing virtual open houses. We've been doing virtual, what we call listing presentations, where we talk to you about selling your house, and also virtual buyer presentations where we talk about what does it take to buy a house, because that could be scary, and those things need to go ahead. This is a great time to go ahead and get all your paperwork to your lender, because it's not easy. Let's just call it what it is, to get all your W-2s and blah, there's a lot of stuff you need to get to your lender. And right now, even working from home, you might have more time to look into that. I mean, you're not going out socializing, so therefore you have more time to get those important paperwork together. So it's actually a good time to start getting your ducks in a row, so that when we're ready to go out and really start looking at homes again. And I think we're going to see an explosion of homes on the market as soon as this thing's over. In fact, weird thing, so we've had 157 homes withdrawn from the market in the past 2 weeks, which means homeowners have taken their house off the market and said, I'll wait. So that's created a little bit of an inventory shortage. I believe that's just because they don't want people in their houses. They might have different compromising medical conditions where they can't have people into their house. And I totally get that, safety first. But I do believe that when this crisis is over, you're going to see a flood of new inventory coming onto the market. And it's going to actually create a little bit of a buyer's market short term, because the buyers are going to have a little bit more inventory to choose from. But they are predicting that in the by the end of the year, the third and fourth quarter of this year will actually be much higher than the third or fourth quarter of last year. And we're going to see what happens. It's going to be very interesting. We're in unprecedented times. In fact, I was talking to a customer this morning. I'm like, it's hard because we've never been able, normally when we can look back and go, in 1982 when that happened, this is what the results were. We have nothing to point back to. So uncharted territory, here we go.
Yeah, absolutely. And you made a good comment. The people who prepare now and are pre-qualified, there are two terms for loan qualifications. One was, what's the other one? Is pre-qualified. I just watched a presentation. One of my colleagues.
Pre-qualified and pre-approved.
There you go. Pre-approved. So not pre-qualified, but if you're pre-approved, right? Or
that's a whole different, and that's what you want.
When you're like ready to, you're ready to flip the switch. And so the buyers that do that now are going to really be sitting in the cat seat, if you will, when the switch flips and you've got all of this property to choose from. And if you're sitting there with your mortgage in hand ready to flip the switch, you're in a good position.
And actually, if you're willing to go look at houses right now, you're probably in a pretty good position to get a pretty good deal in the next couple of weeks. Again, that all changes once all the restrictions are gone. But if you're willing to go look right now, and we can write it in such a way where you're protected until you really get to go look at the house. If maybe there is an occupied house that we can't go see, but we can video see it. And then we can write deals in such a way where until you regularly see it, you're not on the hook for anything. So there's a lot of creative things going on in the real estate market that help our buyers and our sellers be protected. Because we want you to get the perfect house for the perfect price, and we don't want you to ever lose money. Yeah. Right?
That's a good combination.
That's my goal.
Yeah. Well, technology has certainly made this a little bit easier. I mean, there's still stumbling blocks to it, to trying to navigate it, but it's doable, can be done. So let me ask you one last question. We'll wrap up. So let's pretend for a moment that I am thinking about selling my home, and I contact you. What would the process right now look like for us to start that discussion? Because we're obviously not meeting in person. I assume we have a Zoom call or something of that nature.
I do it either on the telephone if you're not comfortable with technology, or we can do it Zoom, or I've done a few FaceTimes, so that's kind of fun because that's easier sometimes than Zoom.
Sure.
And so we would look at what you need to be doing to prepare your home for the market. And what I like to do is, if we go ahead and enter into an agreement, go ahead and get all your photography done and things ready. And actually, because the buyers who are going out, here's a kicker, Janice, are super serious. So you don't have tire kickers, right? And so the buyers who are coming through your home are really ready to buy. And a lot of them need to buy. A house I sold last week she moved here from Maryland. She needs a home. She's living in a hotel. Like, she needs a home. Her stuff is sitting on a trailer waiting to be unloaded somewhere. And so these are things that are still happening, that are real in the market, that are not just because people want a new house. They are truly needs. Yeah.
It's interesting. It's all very interesting. I appreciate you taking time to chat with me about it today. It's interesting times that we're in, but we're going to come out the other side. And I think the key is get prepared.
Right. This is one thing I know. This is what I know. The stock market will return, and the money you thought you lost, you'll gain back. Your little ones will go to school and hug their friends. You'll go back to your office and you'll cry with people you hardly ever noticed before because you're so happy to see them. You'll be happy to wait an hour at your favorite restaurant just to get a seat. You'll take your kids to ball games and buy extra hot dogs and sodas. You'll go to the concert and dance like you did back in high school. You'll rush to movies and order a little extra butter on your popcorn. And you'll get in a plane and go visit your family you hadn't realized you loved so much. And servers, stadium attendees, concession stand workers, and flight attendants will give you the biggest smile when they get to serve you finally again. And you will, in your own way, forever pay tribute to the doctors and those on the front line who are fighting this virus. This will be short-lived.
Make me weepy.
This is short-lived. Be patient.
It's
right. Short-lived. We're almost through it.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. Well, thank you again for your time. I appreciate it so much. And I can't wait to be able to come and see you and give you a hug.
Vice versa.
Thank you. I'll talk to you again soon.
Okay. Thank you again.
Bye-bye.